Do you need travel medical insurance? And if you do, what should you be looking for? We'll jump right in, starting now. Hey pretty people, my name's Rachel. Welcome to Wanderye, where we give you the how-to on making travel tangible. In this bit, we'll be covering the ins and outs of travel medical insurance, what to expect, what to look for, and whether or not it is right for your trip. If this is your first time here, welcome. We cover everything relating to responsible travel, and if you want to keep up to date, consider subscribing. While you're watching, if you see something that I've missed, please share it down with us below. I should throw in a disclaimer before we jump into the meat of things. I am not a financial planner of any kind or anything really to do with insurance monies. The results of this video are from me doing lots of research and lots of reading on the topic out of curiosity, and this video might get into some things you don't want to talk about, like what happens after death and are you covered if that happens. So if that particular topic bothers you, be mentally prepared or just don't watch the video. Anyway, just thought I should throw that stuff out there before we jump into the nitty-gritty. At the end of the video, you might be like, what are her credentials to, make sure that she can tell us these sorts of things? Who is she to tell me what's going to happen to me after I die? I'm definitely not that person to have any sort of authority like that whatsoever. So, travel medical insurance is a type of short-term insurance that covers you for the eligible medical expenses incurred while abroad. There are lots of different types of plans, but while you're comparison shopping, you should make sure that that travel medical insurance plan includes a variety of deductible options, a large international travel network. Some will cover countries all over the world, and sometimes you just need a plan to cover one country, and you can save money by finding the plan that covers just that one country. Hospital room and board, local ambulance charges for that particular covered sickness or injury, a trip to the intensive care unit, terrorism coverage for eligible medical expenses, emergency medical evacuation benefit, meaning if you get injured hiking through the woods, they will cover bringing you from the woods to the most local hospital, and then possibly also, you should look for this, from that hospital all the way back to your home country. It is also suggested to have about $300,000 worth of coverage in this area because that stuff can get real pricey. Repatriation of your remains. I might not have said that properly. However, it means that if you pass away, it'll bring your body back home, which is nice for the family back home and gruesome to think about now. Or a local burial and or cremation. I guess it can't be and or. Local burial or cremation. My apologies for how intense these topics can be. Medical things are not ones publicly discussed frequently, and so you never know what's going to happen when you're somewhere else, and best to be always prepared. However, it's not fun to think about. So those are things that is not unusual to see in a travel medical insurance plan. However, there are some other bonus benefits that you might want to consider, such as physical therapy, emergency dental, emergency reunion, political evacuation, natural disaster, common carrier accidental death, which means if you pass away while riding in a duly licensed common carrier, such as a taxi or a boat or a plane or a train, they will cover you for that. And crisis response benefit, meaning they will cover expenses relating to kidnapping and ransom. So there are monetary values attached to each one of these expenses and how much they'll actually cover if something bad happens. Like I had mentioned with the emergency medical evacuation, to look for a plan that covers up to about $300,000. You should also look for high coverage limits on the rest of the expenses that are covered, with about $100,000 as a minimum. Prior to diving into this topic, I thought travel insurance. That's the same thing as everything else, but turns out there's a lot of subcategories, and travel medical insurance is one of them. So there are some plans of travel medical insurance that will include all the other benefits of regular travel insurance. However, they are not mutually exclusive or should ever be assumed to include one another. I have another video that talks about travel insurance, just the basics, no medical things, very ordinary, no talk of death or what happens after life. And whereas this video is outlining travel medical insurance, things you should look for, there are companies that will offer both plans together. There are companies that will list them as the same thing. And there are companies that will definitely have some and not the other, and or depending on what your needs, sometimes you can pick and choose. Anyway, that was my stab at covering an incredibly immense topic and trying to shrink it down into a sort of summation that you can just listen to in the background noise. There are definitely a ton of details I did not go into, so I'm hoping that the comment section is kind of blowing up with people sharing what has happened to them and what they've learned from doing their own research on this topic. But there you have it. I'm Rachel, this is Wanderye, and we'll see you next time.